Pleasant day to each and every one of you. So today we're going to discuss the urinary system. So there are lots of organs that are involved within the urinary system. So today let us talk about how does this organ work together as a well-oiled machine and how does they function, as one. So these are our objectives for today. So at the end of the session, you should be able to, number one, describe the general functions of the urinary system. Second is to describe the structure and function of each component of the urinary system. Just like what I have mentioned earlier, there are organs that are connected together, to form this urinary system that is available to us human. And alongside with it, I want you to know the general function of the urinary system. So before we proceed with our discussion for today, I want you to take down notes, prepare your ball pen, and your tablet and paper so that you can take down notes as you prepare for the upcoming written work this week. So generally, we have different organs that work together, just like what I've mentioned in urinary system. So for the first one, we have the kidney. It is a pair of bean-shaped organs responsible for filtering blood and urine formation. So as you can see, we have two kidneys that are available to us humans. We have the kidney that can be located at the left and right part of our body. Next one, we also have the ureter, or the tube that transports urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. So technically, ureters are the one that connects the kidney to the urinary bladder, wherein the urine that has been formed will be stored. We have two ureters and we also have two kidneys. Next one, we also have the urinary bladder, which acts as a sac-like, or it acts as a reservoir of the urine that has been formed in the kidney. It is a sac-like structure which stores urine before secretion. So technically, urinary bladder is made up of epithelial tissue or transitional epithelial tissue wherein it expands, which is very much the primary function of the urinary bladder. When our body produces lots of urine, there will come a time that the urinary bladder will expand. And that is the very function of the bladder, to store the urine that has been formed within the kidney. And you have to realize that there are also muscles that are integrated or innervated within the urinary bladder, which is called as a detrusor muscle. Now, though this muscle are the one that is responsible in relaxing and contracting the bladder, making us expel the urine outside of our system. After the urinary bladder, we also have the urethra. It is a tube that secretes or excretes urine out of the urinary bladder outside of our system. So these are the organs that are involved within the urinary system. So if we're going to look at the picture, there are anterior and posterior view of the whole excretory system. We have the kidney that is located superiorly to the ureter, urinary bladder, and urethra. And the ureters are the tubes that connect the kidney to the urinary bladder. And we also have the urinary bladder that acts as a reservoir of the urine, or it is a sac-like structure that collects or that serves as a reservoir for the urine. And the urethra is the tube wherein urine spat outside of the body. So technically, due to sexual dimorphism, there are differences when it comes to male and female urethra. Just like what I mentioned, urethra is the pathway of the urine outside of the body. So relatively, the male urethra is longer compared to female. That is the very reason why female, when they are pregnant, are easily naiihi. Bakit? When the womb of a female is filled with a growing baby or a growing fetus, this pushes the bladder. And the bladder, when the bladder is being pushed, technically the muscle that is integrated within the urinary bladder is also being activated. Hence, it causes the pregnant woman to urinate frequently. On the other hand, we have the male that has a longer urethra. In the discussion in the reproductive system, we have tackled that urethra is the pathway of, number one, the semen, and secondly, in the excretory system of the urine. So technically, there are two things that is being excreted or secreted within the male urethra, such as semen for reproduction, and also urine that has been formed in the kidney. So this is the anatomy of kidney. If we talked about the kidney as an organ, we also have to look at the microscopic level or lens so that we can easily understand what are the things that happens in the kidney. Since kidney is the main organ that filters the blood within the body and produces urine, it's essential for us to learn what are the different components of the kidney or anatomy of the kidney. So for the first one, we have the renal capsule. It is made up of fibrous connective tissue that covers the kidney. So relatively, it is located outside of the kidney, and its primary function technically is for protection. Next one, we have the cortex. No? Almost all parts of the body contains cortex, and cortex, when you encounter this term, usually it is the outermost region. No? In our example, kidney also has a cortex, and the cortex is the outermost region in the kidney. If we're going to look at the diagram, if we're going to look at the upper right part of the diagram, the cortex is located in the outer region. Next one, we have the medulla or the inner region of the kidney where urine is collected to be excreted outward. So later on, we will dig deep to the microscopic lens in medulla. But for now, for general overview, medulla is the inner part or inner region of the kidney where infiltration happens. Next one, we also have the renal calyx. It is a duct-like section of the renal medulla for collecting urine from nephrons. So nephrons class are the unit of kidney wherein filtration happens. So renal duct or renal calyx is located in the diagram, the yellow one. And lastly, we have the renal pelvis wherein the central urine collecting areas of the renal medulla. So technically, the urine is being formed within the medulla and then expelled outside to the calyx and then to the ureter. And from the ureter, it goes to the urinary bladder, urethra, and outside of the body. Okay, just like what I have mentioned, we also have to talk about the microscopic level of the the nephrons, no? Because in the nephrons or the units of kidney, these are the site wherein filtration and reabsorption happens. If we're going to look at the diagram in A, we have the kidney frontal section. So if you're going to cross-cut if you're going to cut it cross-sectionally, you can see that there are parts of the kidney, namely the medulla. Now, the medulla is the middle part or the inner part. The cortex is the outermost part. And we have the nephrons. No? These are the tubes that helps in the filtration of the urine or formation of the urine. In the B picture or in the diagram B, it is a section of the renal cortex and renal pyramid showing the nephrons. So if we're going to look at the yellow part wherein there are tubes and areas of tubes that are connected with each other, later on we will explain how does the mechanism of filtration and reabsorption happens within the nephron. So if we're going to look at the nephron, which is the basic functional unit of the kidney, this is the site wherein the filtration of blood and formation of urine happens. Okay, so the one that is responsible in, or the professional that is responsible in kidneys are called nephrologists because the basic unit of excretory system, kidney, is nephron. So there are main components of the nephrons, no? Just like what I've mentioned in microscopic level, we have to discuss the different parts or components of the nephrons that is located within the medulla of the kidney. For the first one, we have the glomerulus. So glomerulus, as you can see in the picture, it's located in the middle part, no? Wherein it has a yellow part and red part. I want you to focus on the glomerulus. So glomerulus are just like a capillary that are made up of convoluted section. Pag sinabi natin convoluted, ito po ay mesh-like or gulo-gulo, parang spaghetti. Ano? So glomerulus is just like that because the blood from our body needs to be filtered so that the glomerulus needs to have needs to look like that for surface area. Okay? So dapat madami siyang dadaanan. Second is for the Bowman's capsule. The yellow one is called the Bowman capsule, which technically encapsulates the glomerulus. So due to filtration and for diffusion also, no, doon nag-diffuse sa Bowman's capsule yung tinatawag natin na filtrate or mga na-filter sa ating blood. Next one, you have the proximal convoluted tubule, which is located in number 1. So it is called proximal because it is near the glomerulus. Later on, we will examine or we will also talk about another type of tubule called distal. So after the proximal tubule, we also have the loop of Henle. No? The loop of Henle has two parts, the ascending and descending part. And for the next one, we also have the distal convoluted tubule. So just like what I've mentioned, there are two types of tubules within the nephrons. The proximal one is near the glomerulus. The distal one is syempre away from the glomerulus. And lastly, we have the collecting duct, which is then give, no, o binibigay yung ating urine na na-form within this whole mechanism or process, and that collecting duct will give it to the calyx of the kidney, papunta ng ureter again, papunta ng urinary bladder. So I want you to focus on this one class, no? Yung ating arteriole from the renal artery and the arteriole from the glomerulus. So relatively class, the diameter of these two type of blood vessel is different from each other. You have to realize that arteriole from renal artery has a greater diameter compared to arteriole. So what are the logic behind their class? So the logic is so that kailangan malaki ang diameter ng arterial renal artery para mas mataas yung pressure na magpapass through doon sa o pagpapass through ng blood sa glomerulus. So when the pressure is high, technically diffusion can happen or filtration can happen. So you have to realize, diba, in our discussion in the circulatory system, the blood is composed of red blood cell, white blood cells, plasma, some parts of proteins, glucose, sodium, chloride, and all of those things need to be filtered and goes through the glomerulus. And that happens because number one, there's a greater pressure that happens, or there's a pressure or high pressure that is being exerted from the arterial renal artery going to the glomerulus, and then the arterial from the glomerulus has a smaller diameter. So medyo manipis or mas manipis yung ating arterial from the glomerulus. Okay? So now, let us talk about the mechanisms, no? Or how does each part of the nephrons work in the creation of urine and filtration. So unang-una, we have the renal corpuscle, which is composed of glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. So renal corpuscle is just a fusion or pinagsamang glomerulus and Bowman capsule. No? So just like what I have mentioned, filtration is possible because of the difference of diameter of the renal arteriole going to the glomerulus. So it creates a pressure so that the blood can diffuse within the glomerulus. Next one, we have the proximal convoluted tubule. So technically, when the capillaries passes through the glomerulus, no, glomerulus primary function is to filter small solute from the blood. So technically, if there are salt, chloride, sugar that is small enough that can diffuse outside of the capillaries, it will be now then catch or captured by the Bowman's capsule. Then the next process is the solute that has been filtered in the glomerulus will go to the proximal convoluted tubule. So what happens? So you have to realize, class, that the excretory system in human body is not that efficient. Why? Minsan, may mga na-filter si glomerulus, pero nare-reabsorb pa din ng katawan natin. No? And the mechanism that happens in here is just the diffusion. No? So, ganun nga lang yan sa diffusion. So, in the proximal convoluted tubule, some of the solute, ion, water, and nutrients are being reabsorbed, no, in the body. So, bakit kailangan i-reabsorb? So, again, the primary motivator or driver is homeostasis. You have to realize that if there are different in concentration, kailangan mag-move ng isang molecule from one part to the another. Okay? Aside pa doon, no, in the proximal convoluted tubule, there are molecules, no, that needs to be absorbed back in our body so that we can use that. No? For example nga, yung water. No? Because water is essential in human body. Next one, we have the loop of Henle. So the loop of Henle is divided into two. We have the descending and ascending. So after the proximal convoluted tubule, we have the descending loop of Henle, wherein aquaporins allow water to pass from filtrate into the interstitial fluid. What does it mean? So technically, you have to realize that the renal medulla plus is made up of salt. So anong ibig sabihin? Kung ang renal corpus cell ay merong salt, technically, the logic always is water is attracted to salt. So what happens if there's a high concentration of salt within the renal medulla wherein nephron is being located? So technically, maa-absorb ni renal medulla yung water. So the tendency is mapupull yung water outside of this descending loop. So there are waters that pass through it, and some of the waters, again, water will be reabsorbed by the bloodstream. Okay? So, syempre, gagamitin ulit yung water ng ating katawan. Next one, we have the ascending loop. No? Reabsorbs the sodium chloride from the filtrate to the interstitial fluid. Ito yung sabi ko kanina, no? That water is attracted to sodium chloride, and when there's a higher concentration of sodium chloride in the renal medulla, so the tendency is some of the water will be pulled out. So the tendency is, class, sobrang concentrated na yung napoproduce natin na urine. Bakit? So yung water from the loop of Henle is being reabsorbed by the body. Ulitin natin, ha. So from the top, so glomerulus filters small solute and from the blood. So technically, we call it the filtrate. Now, the filtrate will pass through the proximal convoluted tubule, where again, some of the minerals, ions, and water is being absorbed by the body. Okay? So pagka nag-pass through sa proximal convoluted tubule, it will pass through the loop of Henle, the descending and ascending, and again, water is reabsorbed by the body. So technically, yung concentration of urine is higher or greater. Why? Because we keep on getting water from our filtrate. Naintindihan? So after ng ascending loop, we have the distal tubule. No? So in the distal tubule, it delivers the urea that is collected along the filtration that goes through the collecting duct. So just like what I have mentioned, the urine or urea that has been formed in the filtrate is greater ang kanyang concentration. So technically, it will pass through the distal tubule. And then what happens after? It will pass through the collecting duct, no, wherein some solute and water is again being reabsorbed. So ganun siya ka-intricate, no? Water is being absorbed quite for couple of times because water is very essential within our body. You have to realize also that there are hormones that is essential when we talk about the nephrons, or how does the nephrons filtration happens. No? For the first one, we have the filtration, and the second one, we have the reabsorption. So from number 2, proximal convoluted tubule, hanggang distal tubule, paulit-ulit na nire-reabsorb yung mga kailangan ng ating katawan, just like water and other minerals. And for the last part, no, when we form urea or urine, this has been being transported to the collecting duct. Okay? So this is the process of renal, or this is the renal physiology wherein the urine is being formed and adjusted based on the composition that is involved within the blood. So just like what I've mentioned, urine formations, primary driver is number one, homeostasis. Depende sa kailangan ng katawan kung kailangan ba natin mag-release ng water outside or kailangan natin mag-retain ng water inside. Okay? So, syempre, for example, inom ka ng tubig, there's a great tendency that there's a greater concentration of water in your body or in your bloodstream, so kailangan siyang i-expel. For example naman, ikaw ay dehydrated, merong hormones nga na may kinalaman, no? ADH, antidiuretic hormones, wherein it prevents or suppresses you to produce urine, mga ganun bagay. Okay? But medyo malalim na yon. Let us focus on the renal physiology. So glomerular filtration is when blood is being filtered at the glomerulus. So again, within the renal capsule, we're in Bowman's capsule, and the glomerulus is located, doon nangyari yung filtration. So that is the first step of urine formation. Second, we have the tubular reabsorption. So ano nangyari dito? It removes useful solute from the filtrate, returns them to the blood. So sinabi ko kanina that in the glomerulus, filtrate is being formed, no? When the blood filters the glomerulus filters the blood, it forms a filtrate. And this filtrate now will undergo the tube or tubular reabsorption, wherein useful solutes is being absorbed again by the body. Next one, we have the tubular secretion. So what happens in tubular secretion? It removes additional waste from the blood and adds them to the filtrate. So in the tubular secretion, yung mga nitrogenous waste, yung mga ammonia or NH, NH3, NH4, some components of salt sometimes are being secreted outside, no? And for number 4, we have the water conservation, wherein it removes water from the urine and returns into the blood of the human. So again, just like what I have mentioned, no, water is reabsorbed for quite some time for the body to conserve water. So glomerular filtration happens syempre in the glomerulus, no? I have mentioned earlier that there's a difference of diameter within the renal corpuscle, the capillaries papunta ng glomerulus at capillaries outside of the glomerulus. No, magkaiba silang diameter. Bakit? To create a greater pressure. So this blood pressure forces water and small molecules to pass through the glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. So forming a fluid called filtrate. So filtrate na po ang term kapag it passes through the glomerulus. So filtrate component includes water, sugar, lipids, water, proteins, and other ions. Okay? So the filtrates will flow through the proximal convoluted tubule to the loop of Henle and then papunta ng distal convoluted tubule. So if we're going to examine the look or the anatomy of the glomerulus, it is composed of what? Siyempre meron diyang red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets, and some of the water and solute. So what happens? So technically, since ito ay capillaries or blood vessel, it contains a blood, tama ba? And the thing is, water and small solute will pass through or diffuse within the layer of endothelial cell. So nakikita natin yung pag-pass through. So this is due to the blood pressure that is being or that happens within the glomerulus. So ano nangyari? So this filtrate now will go to the proximal convoluted tubule. Next one, we have the tubular reabsorption. So about 99% of the filtrate volume is reabsorbed and returned to the renal vein. So ulit natin na napakalaking part ng filtrate ang again na-absorb ng ating katawan. And then 1% only becomes urine. So glucose amino acid is then being transported by active transport. So energy is being used. Water is reabsorbed by osmosis, no? And proteins are reabsorbed by phagocytosis. Most of the reabsorbed filtrate is water concentrating the urine. So from this part, we have the glomerulus, where infiltrate is being formed. Si glucose, si amino acid, proteins is being reabsorbed again by our body. Okay? So when it passes to the proximal convoluted tubule and to the loop of Henle, again, water, sodium, potassium chloride is being absorbed. Okay? And pagpunta naman sa convoluted, sa distal convoluted tubule, we have the sodium chloride, water again is being reabsorbed. And for the last part, we have the tubular secretion, wherein hydrogen ions, some byproducts of the metabolism, some substance are being produced, so it creates a higher concentration of secretion into the convoluted tubule. So the urine is now being collected by the collecting ducts and then sent to the calyxes, or the calyx that is located within the nephron. No? So the calyx is now connected to the ureter, and the ureter are the one that is connected to the urinary bladder. And the urinary bladder is connected to the urethra. Urethra expel the urine. Okay? So that would be all for the excretory system. So let us recall the process that happens within the excretory system and the organs that are involved. So technically, there are few organs that are involved lang. No? We have the kidney, wherein the filtration happens. So kidney contains a nephron, or a basic unit that helps in filtration or curating of the urine. So within the nephron, it also has component like glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle. We have the ascending and descending. We have the distal convoluted tubule, and also we have the collecting ducts. The collecting ducts will transfer or send the urine that has been formed to the ureter. So we have two ureters connected to the kidney each, no? And then the urine will go to the urinary bladder, and the urinary bladder is connected to the urethra, and urethra will expel the urine. So that would be all for the urinary system. So thank you for listening, and goodbye. Good luck sa inyong exam.